Hey you, before the video starts, consider dropping a like, a comment, and maybe consider subscribing. This really does help the channel grow. On to the video. Hey there guys, it's Main here, back here with another account review. I'm doing this one off stream as I ended Saturday's stream a little bit early. Rather unexpected. At least it should not have been unexpected to me. To be honest, the issue I had was more so me doing my own time management. It sucked. So I had to end stream. Nothing major. It was honestly completely fine. It was something completely not out of the ordinary. Truth is, I just didn't time manage correctly, so that's on me. I apologize, guys. But we're doing these account reviews off stream today to catch up so you guys have content for this week and hopefully next week as well. Anyways, we're looking at GeQhO's account. Yeah, I mean, that's the account we're looking for. I guess first thing I see off the dashboard is just remember your Obols to roll them, as is with some people I've seen rather recently. They forget to roll their Obols and forget that they can roll to +1. So Toolbox actually has a good indicator for this. You can actually roll them to +1. Silver pop Obols go to +4% drop rate. All their hyper Obols can go +1 from what their base is, from what they drop. So 12% total damage here to 13%. The the drop hyper Obol for drop rate, from 10 to 11. Your Ember Obols, they can roll, both of these misc slots can roll +1, so it can roll +11% on both. However, I would probably just recommend sticking with +11% on skill efficiency unless you have hundreds of thousands of Obols to trash, which, I mean, you could. If you want to trash Obols, you can farm them in World 2, start trashing them, and you could roll these to +11, but it takes a very, very long time, and it's very hard to do, but it's definitely something you could do. Anyways, point aside, roll them to +1. The wiki has good roll indicators if you want to look at the wiki to see what the max of your Obols are. And if you're early game, as I mentioned in an account review on Friday last week with Tempest Pika, I believe it was, I gave a little tutorial on how to roll Obols and what you should do. Specifically, pop Obols, try to roll them at bronze so you save Obol fragments in the long run, because if you roll your range on silver pop Obols, it'll cost you more Obol fragments in the long run. So you want to save Obols, do it on bronze, and then up tier it. The Obol for when you go to upgrade, the left side slot is what gets upgraded. So you want to make sure your +1 is there, and then have some trash filler Obol on the right side. Pop Obol, obviously, to up tier that rolled bronze Obol to +1. So here we go. So this one right here, if this was rolled, this one's rolled to +3, I would put another pop Obol here, which I don't have, combined until it combines, and then it'll roll from the +3 to +4 for the silver pop Obol. So make sure to do that. GeQhO, since you have 33,000 Obol fragments almost, just roll them. I mean, it shouldn't, especially with probably how much drop rate you're facing right now, it really doesn't take much for you to catch back up in that regard. So not a problem. If you look at your stats, your drop rate's 95. Yeah, you can get the Obol fragments in a matter of hours if you really wanted to. If you want to try to roll these to +11, by all means, I encourage you to do so. Also, I would recommend roll. Yeah, no, this is gold. Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking this could go to. Yeah, no, you're fine. Never mind. But yeah, as you get into the end game, the sparkle dice Obols is what you want to do for drop rate, and magma Obols beat out the regular dice Obols here in terms of drop rate, because these drop at 14%. You can roll it to 15. These only go up to 11%, so you can get more drop rate from the magma Obols if you want to. To that point, actually, if you're struggling with getting the magma Obols, the big time Domio Magnus Obols, what you can actually do is, now that Arcane Cultist is out and we can actually push to Mr. Brightside, now that the Sigma portal has been reduced, you can actually farm the purple crystal here to increase your drop rate for the map, and that will increase the drop rate for Domio Magnus. So if you're struggling for getting the Obols or any of the recipes, you can actually come here if you are able to get here. Obviously, with at this point in World 5, you definitely need 400 talents to be able to push to Mr. Brightsides. Getting past that Sigma portal is rather hard. I can't remember actually the time requirements, but the portal requirements are much lower. So instead of being 170, it's now 80 with 180 seconds. So you definitely need higher talent levels to get here. And with the Summoning Stones update, actually getting to 450 talents is actually now feasible. So World 5, at some point, we should be able to finish, if not already. Just takes a little bit of time, and obviously I got a little bit of time before I'm able to get to 450 myself. It's going to take a few days, to be honest with you, but yeah, now nowadays 450 talents is somewhat of an end game goal, end game grind, what you want to do. So get on it, why not? and start getting to those talents. So anyways, getting out of the conversation of obols, doing the drop rate stacking on Mr. Brightsides for the Domia Magmus obol or the recipes if you're still looking for it. If you're able to get there, you can do that and start fleshing out your obol page as a personal family page or a personal page, as well as the family page for obols. Okay, speaking of your characters, I do want to say specifically your character setup is a little bit concerning to me. 2 DK is always meta. It hasn't changed at all. Having 2 DKs is good specifically for construction because you get a ton of construction EXP, which, as we know, skill levels now are really, really important, specifically for bravery and stacking sword damage, but also it's just a bunch of free levels. It gives you a bunch of gems. Construction is always something you are aiming to grind and finish. And actually, speaking of that, I can max out talent library now. And you can obviously push more tower defense stuff. This helps you inevitably push like refinery levels, because the more construction building levels you have, the more refinery speed you get, because of the rift bonus for construction mastery eventually gives you that refinery multiplier. You get more critters here. So if you're working on vials, getting more critters, upgrading trapper drone, this is a multiplier to critters. I often don't mention this because this takes a lot of build rate, especially now for me. Honestly, I kind of want to upgrade this to 50. That's probably my next long-term grind. Yeah, and having 2 DKs is optimal for the board setup. These guys give you an insane amount of construction speed. So, if you're pushing building levels and pushing construction levels, DK is the best character to do it, because the talents are specifically set up for you to do that. So you get more construction EXP, you get more build speed here. You get obviously the cycle, the refinery cycle here to be able to push that. Cool. Okay. But yeah, outside of that, 2 Deathbringer, I agree with. 2 ES, if you have Doot, I no longer agree with. I think 2 ES, you want to swap one of those over to Arcane Cultist. Not right now. You can hold off on that decision. Not necessarily something you need to do right now. But eventually, when the AFK mechanic comes available for Arcane Cultist, I think AC, having 2 of them, is going to be actually meta. Strictly for getting those time skips, because the Tesseract is actually really hard to push, and some of the later game upgrades in the Tesseract are actually really, really powerful for your account. Alongside Deathbringer, it has minimum talent levels, not as much as Deathbringer. It only has +5. So you have the +5 talent levels here. You have more arcane crystal bonuses higher, so you can push more and more, drop rate or EXP or AFK gains on maps. This obviously takes a very long time to get here. You have cheaper summoning upgrades for Endless Victory. This is pretty good. You have multiplier to Emperor bonuses. You can get more Prisma Bubbles. You can get more Gambit Cavern points. Prisma Bubbles give you a higher bonus. There's Seraph Cosmo multipliers are higher. You unlock the Arcane Cultists resource gain in the lab as a node. You get Equinox bar fill rate. There's a ton of like permanent account bonuses that are unfortunately pretty far into the Tesseract. That takes currently just getting to Equinox bar fill rate takes thousands of hours, and getting to something even later on in the Tesseract, like the summoning upgrade cheapener and the talent levels, are going to take millions probably of hours at this point. I mean, I can go to my Google Drive and try to figure out how many hours it would take for my Arcane Cultist to get there. So if I want to go for universe talents with my current rates, it's taken a decent amount of hours. Just a few. Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit of hours. Yeah, about that many days, right? I mean, this many hours, right? But I mean, this is with updated rates and stuff, but you get the point. It's going to take a very long time. So that's why I think double Arcane Cultist is actually pretty good. Also, having 2 lets you kind of not have to worry about swapping talent presets. So if you were to go from active farming Arcane Cultist to go back to do summoning, you don't have to swap the talent presets back to your second page, so you can focus on summoning upgrades in the talent page for Arcane Cultist. You can just have one character permanently set to that page, so that you don't have to worry about swapping it, because often people forget about it. I forget about it. That's why I have 2. So I have one character permanently set on the summoning bonuses, and I have one character set on Arcane Cultist form. And actually, I'm kind of gambling that in the long run, when second Arcane Cultist gets available, it's going to work unlocking the AFK mechanic is going to work just like Windwalker did and just like Deathbringer did, where you have to farm 1,000 fragments of something to unlock it, and then when you unlock it, you're able to claim AFK gains on a character to get your arcane rocks. So I've had this character AFK at Ancient Golem since day one of Arcane Cultist launch. This was my second elemental sorcerer. I used a masterclass swap token to make him a bubo, and then I did the class quest to make him an arcane cultist, and for 456 hours he's been AFK at Ancient Golems, because eventually in 3 months time or so, when AFK rocks become available, I'll be able to claim that time and get that many rocks, because that's exactly how it worked for Deathbringer. People went AFK for a very long period of time on their second Deathbringer, and then when AFK bones came out, they claimed that time. They got that many bones. It worked for Windwalker. People did the 1,000 trick. They got all those Aether Moons. They got all those Aether Moons. They were able to use it, and it worked like that. So unless he does something differently with Arcane Rock, which is what I'm gambling on, he doesn't change the method, I'll be able to claim that time and really skyrocket my progress in the Tesseract, and eventually be able to get these +5 talents. And I don't know if me actually claiming this is going to make this feasible. Probably not. I mean, given how long we need to be able to do it, but it's a gamble. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, because there's always the possibility he implements it differently. There's always the possibility he sees this account review, which I personally don't believe Lava watches these account reviews, but I highly doubt. I'm rating it like an 80-20 possibility, that 80% chance he keeps the same system he did for Arcane Cultist and Windwalker, and 20% chance he does something completely different, which doesn't involve you actively farming it, or you just unlock it, or you need to AFK on skilling nodes in lab or something. I don't know, man. But I doubt that there's going to be an alternative system for claiming it. That's why I have two Arcane Cultists, one stuck inside of Ancient Golems for now until the end of time. Okay, moving away from that. Anyways, talking about class setup, if you have Doot, and honestly the fastest way I can see if you have Doot is probably Hole, because it tells me if you have this, and you actually do have Doot. So honestly, my recommendation is probably swapping your lowest level elemental sorcerer, so this character, to an arcane cultist. And it doesn't matter which arcane cultist you have that's actively pushing, but sticking this character in Ancient Golems AFK for 1,000,000 years, or just having it as a summoning mule for those talent points is also something you could do, just to save yourself the headache of doing talent swaps. But eventually I think 2 AC is going to be the meta, because of how good the Tesseract is for pushing summoning, pushing Equinox, pushing the talent bonuses, Seraph Cosmos bonuses. There's a bunch of stuff that Arcane Cultist has that are really powerful, that are worth considering putting 2 AC on. The reason you don't do 2 ES anymore is because if you have Doot, you obviously have all the links. So what's that called? There's a talent that makes 2 ES good, or it's polytheism. So this was the main reason why you wanted 2 elemental sorcerers, is having a character linked to what was then 2 gods, but now you can link to 4 total with elemental sorcerer. You no longer need this if you have Doot, so this is a completely worthless talent. And having 2 ES doesn't necessarily give you a better oak log print, because family bonus only works on one of your elemental sorcerers, the one that's the highest level. That's why I recommended swapping your lowest level one over to arcane cultist, so you could benefit from you still benefit from the family bonus on this character. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, I mean, the whole logic around 2 ES having higher prints was basically because of the family guide bonus. If you guys didn't know, the way elemental sorcerer works is its family bonus gives you plus minimum talent levels. So what that means is if you were to scale that with family bonus, instead of getting the 446 talents that you normally have in your characters, I now have 450. So elemental sorcerer naturally has higher talent levels, which means you get more AFK gain rate, you have more total skill efficiency, you have more strength that wisdom has on your somewhere on your chopping efficiency. You have more logs on levels. You have more chopping efficiency here through the power of 10 talent here. There's a bunch of stuff that gets scaled with talent levels. that make minimum talent levels worth pursuing, and that's why it's a really powerful stat if you're trying to stack skill efficiency. But yeah, 2 ES was good for Prince in that scenario because you are able to push higher talent levels. But if you have 2, the second one, or rather the lowest level one, is not going to benefit from that because it doesn't scale the Family Guy bonus. It scales off of whatever character is your highest, and if you are not the highest, you don't get that talent scaling, essentially is how that works. So keep that in mind. Having your second ES at this point, because you have Dude, is probably not worth it. You could argue swapping it over. Now, there's obviously that long-term idea, which is valid, and something to take into consideration is eventually when the master classes come out for Elemental Sorcerer, Siegebreaker, V-Man even, and a Divine Knight, those are going to be more worth it than having 2 DB, 2 Windwalkers, 2 Arcane Cultists. So you could keep your character in ES. You don't need to have 2 Arcane Cultists, but I'm talking about right now, this is probably going to be the meta, is 2 Deathbringer, 1 Windwalker, 2 DK, and 2 Arcane Cultists. I think 2 Windwalkers completely unnecessary, particularly because of how far and how easily you are able to push it now, especially with the guaranteed stone success chance. Getting 2 World 6 and getting billions of dust per hour is very feasible, and with 1 Windwalker, you're able to get the plus 20 atoms, which is by far the most impactful thing you can do with Aether Moons right now, is getting level 50 Boron. And, you know, that's the long-term grind with Windwalker. Versus Deathbringer, it takes thousands of hours, thousands upon thousands of hours for you to get to Death of Adam price, and it takes thousands, millions of hours, honestly, with Arcane Cultists to get to the end of the Tesseract as well. Anyways, that's kind of the logic behind the current Masterclass optimal class setup right now. 2 DK is always good for construction. 2 Deathbringer is good because Charred Bones are a pain, or the Grimoire is a pain to push. 2 Arcane Cultist eventually, when AFK rocks are available, are good, probably most likely because the Tesseract is just such a pain to push. 2 Windwalkers not necessarily good because you're easily able to push the Compass and able to get some of the more impactful endgame bonuses versus Deathbringer and Arcane Cultist you're not. Okay, stamps. Go back to the base of your account. So you have Crystalline, Mason Jar, Golden Apple, Atomic Refinery, all good stamps. You have Multi-Tool, you have Summoning. If you manage to get yourself 1 extra, or rather if you have 1 in reserve, I would put it on Drippy Drop, in my honest opinion. This is a really good one to do. At this stage, I actually don't know if it's worth doubling Gold Ball stamp since you have it. Particularly because of, because the fact Kilroy exists and you are able to cycle all of your Kilroy skulls into arcade and get a bunch of gold balls that way. That's kind of how endgamers get all the gold ball bonuses that they need, is just strictly doing Kilroy resets and having just a ton in reserve just over the weeks of doing that. Like, I have 700,000. I'm able to max out just about any shop, and I don't have the gold ball stamp at all. So you don't need to double it. It's honestly not worth doubling if you're kind of this late in the game. Like, you're pretty late game, you're pretty end game. You don't necessarily need to scale this, so I wouldn't exalt stamp this, to be completely honest with you. Actually, forget about Drippy Drop. I'd honestly do Vendor Stamp. The reason Vendor Stamp is good is because you can buy up to 4 Biggie Hour spawns every single week, and based off the level of your Vendor Stamp, I think you are able to do that, because I think 70 is roughly what you need, along with the other scalers for shop bonus, which I think come from the bribes from stamps, and the World 5 secret achievement from standing behind the big old mole inside of town and talking to the open shop gives you more shop space. There's, I think, other stuff, but I really can't remember. It's such a niche stats to worry about. I don't really know all the sources of it, but oh well. Level 20 Mega Feather, it's pretty good. Kangaroo 8, it's pretty good. You can push this up to 10 to get up to 30% AFK gains. I would recommend doing that. We don't need to talk about that because it's nothing you control. Upgrades. Okay, same thing as I talked about in the other videos when pushing Kilroy. Get this to 180 and get this up to like 120, and then from there it's up to you what you want to do. You can try to push this to 50, push this to 100. I don't know, do what you want. If you want to spend more time in Kilroy, you can put more time in there. The ideal optimal ratio is every 3 levels of 1 second timer, you do 2 levels of bonus skull. And then faster respawn apparently has a cap at 40. I've also heard it has a cap at 100. I've also heard it doesn't have a cap, so I truthfully don't know the answer, but I pushed this to 100 once I got this to 180 and this to 120. You can replicate the same thing. It works just fine for me. I get 100%. Sorry, I get almost like a almost like a 3x return on arcade every single time I do it, from investing all of the Kilroy skulls into arcade balls. So it's definitely worth to push Kilroy. It's a very easy way to get your gems back if you are able to push the second timer and bonus skulls higher, and get into like the 3,000-4,000 kills every single week. And honestly, you're almost there. All right, prints are looking good. I don't see a trillion print though, so that's something you want to try to push towards and try to achieve, and that's really going to come from doing bravery, getting bravery multi, getting. Do you not even have 24k hours here? Oh my lord. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so not gonna lie. Because of how powerful the monuments are, I would highly recommend sticking your characters AFK there. Even if they're the master classes, I would stop pushing them unless you don't have Skull of Major Talent, which I think you do. Okay, you have level 30 Skull of Major Talent, so your Deathbringers, honestly, I would consider taking them off the fighting nodes and put them into bravery, justice right now to 24k hours, because justice to 24k hours will let you extend your runs and get further, because this is a guaranteed plus 20 waves, essentially 20 cases, so you can get higher waves, higher cases, get higher rewards, get more justice bonus multi, more AFK gain for your monuments. You're able to get the 24k hours on the others faster, get a bunch of class EXP. Justice is the best way to get class EXP in the game, bar none. It is a significantly better than grind time. I think my justice is 4-5x whatever grind time gives me right now at the bare minimum. So if you want class EXP, if you want to push higher class levels, justice is the best way to do it right now. And you need to get to 24k hours, and that's the stopping point for justice. Wisdom at 10k hours is completely fine. You could push it up to 24k if you want. And then bravery, the end game goal here is to get to 100k at the bare minimum, because that can guarantee you getting to wave 47 plus, which is when you start seeing bravery bonus multi, which is going to help you get more monument AFK gain. It's going to help you get more damage for Emperor. It's going to help you get more gaming bit gain, so you can push gaming and get the 4 extra spots in the sprouts in the gaming window. You can get more mining efficiency to get to the 1 trillion prints, as I mentioned. You get more bucket fill rate if you want, which is not that good, but it's good for pushing more opals and getting more, I guess, snail success chance for getting more damage here from the gold dust, getting more bucket fill rate, getting more multi-kill per tier, more drop rate. I think, no, not drop rate. But yeah, bravery is just really good. Getting it to 100k, the bravery bonus multi is one of the most significant upgrades you can get probably in the entire game right now, because of how good this scales the damage, because of how good it scales the your prints, so you can get higher levels of helium, the atom collider, for more skill efficiency, and more tome points from pushing atoms and stuff. And just having a nice comfy atom generation is really, really good for your account. So please focus on the whole, get these up to 24k for justice and 100k for bravery. That's your goal, that's your grind. And with 665% monument AFK gain, this is fantastic. You should be well positioned enough to be able to do this. And don't see you don't have Minecraft gems, so you can't help with that. But as you get justice to 24k, you're able to push your waves even higher and get more monument AFK gain, which means you're going to spend less time in bravery getting this to 100k. Then you'll eventually see more monument AFK gain here. If you eventually see bravery bonus multi, it's going to scale that monument AFK gain, so it's going to take even less time to get to that 100k mark. All in all, this actually took me probably like a month total on my characters, with like 6 characters in bravery with roughly 1,000 monument AFK gain. I think that tracks. I think that makes sense to get to roughly 100k. So it is a long grind, but it is definitely worth it. If you're trying to push the upper echelon of Endgame of Idleon, pushing to 100k bravery is non-negotiable. Oof. Unfortunate. So I see a lot of slab items here that are pretty easily obtainable. Party dungeon stuff, for example. The Sanic ring, this just requires you to have active this star sign. Nope, not that one. It's one of these. this one right here, have active the star sign, just actively kill mobs. Eventually you'll get it. It just takes a little bit of time. So whatever character you're active on, you can actually just click on that star sign and it'll give you that ring drop chance. And obviously you have some of the stuff here, like the Gargantuan Matty Pouch, like this stuff you can craft is what you need to do. This is a World 3 shop item that you just buy. And at this point you should have more than enough construction levels to do. But you just buy this right here, click and hold, and there you go. It's refurbished cog. So that's a pretty easy slab for you. It requires like level 75 construction or something. I don't remember, but this should be really easy for you to do. But yeah, you have a bunch of slab stuff that you can do, so you get more total damage here if you're trying to push more emperors. Farming, the name of the game for farming probably at this stage for you is just doing daily resets. So farming, you know, I always mention the trial pairs video, so go look at any of the previous videos, account reviews I've done talking about farming. I almost always link the video from trial pairs about how to do optimal resets, but do that reset every single day, trade it in for magic beans, and just push Evo GeMO. And that's really all you want to do if you want to push crops. And this will help you in the long run with damage, with gaming speed, so you can push higher gaming bits. It'll give you more drop rate. It'll give you more pet rate if you want to do more Windwalker farming, all that fun jazz. All right, so pushing level 4 sneaking at this stage is going to come from pushing level 100k of each of these gemstones, minus, I guess, emerald. Pushing 100k of all of these is going to help you push that because you'll get more, obviously, stealth from Aquamarine alone. Star will help scale one of the gold charms, which gives you sneaking percent. This one right here, the gold beads. The moissanite will scale the other bonuses from gemstones, so you get more stealth bonus here, you get more gold bonus here, which again scales into stealth value here. And obviously, they'll also help you with action speed to help you farm the floors faster. If you're trying to push higher tier floor, do not do this. Do a rosary plus a veil. They multiply their stealth values together. Having 3 or 4 characters that are stuck on double lotus flower is what you want to do. So rosary and veil if you're trying to push, and then have a character on have a character or 2 on double lotus flower to push the other characters to higher stealth values. Last thing I want to mention is about, well, honestly, I don't know what you're doing. You're on floor. Are you like item farming because you have gloves equipped? So like, well, I don't know what exactly you're doing, but if you're trying to item farm, you're also doing that inefficiently because you want to have double meteorites on your characters, or since your gold charm level is relatively low, you might still benefit from both meteor and yellow belt to help increase your action speed, to help you find items faster. That may be something you want to do. If you don't have the stealth to support that, then go back and do gemstone farming. But yeah, pushing to mastery 4 is pretty significant because it'll help you get staking bonuses. Also, I guess this is pretty important to mention. If you're trying to farm pristine charms, this is a big disclaimer for everyone who's trying to like free to play pristine charm farm. It is currently bugged. So in the most recent hotfix that he introduced these summoning stones, there was an update that made it so pristine charm farming should be easier to get every single day. However, it was if you were to find a pristine charm, the chance of your next pristine charm goes down. So you find it less likely to find a pristine charm over time. It's supposed to reset every single day. However, it does not reset at this time. So if you find a pristine charm, your chance permanently goes down that you're able to find the next pristine charm. This information is sourced from the wiki contributors. So I find it valid and I find it trustworthy to trust them since they, help with the entire game. So if you are trying to push free pristine charms, you might get 2 or 3 or 4, maybe, depending how many you already have. And then after 100, I think, total pristine charms found, your chance to find a new one effectively drops to 0%, is what the chart shows. So the only way right now for you to find new pristine charms is buying them in the shop. That is the only way, realistically, for you to find them. Buying in the shop also doesn't produce duplicates. Finding them in sneaking can produce duplicates. So you might find Sour Wowzer 10 times before you find Crystal Comb, which is probably the best one you're trying to find right now. So keep that in mind if you're actively trying to free-to-play farm pristine charms. Be very wary that if you don't find the stuff that you want within 10, 20, you're probably going to be locked out of finding any new pristine charms in the long run. Until he fixes it, obviously. So you're at 191. That actually shows the bosses and stuff. So I don't know how much damage you're at because it doesn't actually show with all the doublers and stuff. But remember to try and go back and do these bosses. You might be able to do white for getting to ×4. And eventually, once you push this into the like 10, 20, 50 trillion damage, you might be able to push this to 5 times. And then you might be able to push this to 3 or 4 times. I think it is blue, where once you have around like 100 trillion, I think you're able to push to 5 times. If you're able to get to 150 to 200 trillion, red becomes available to push this to 5 times, I believe. So be mindful, always trying to do those summoning stone bonuses so you can scale your damage. Also, if you're trying to push higher waves, make sure to upgrade your damage bonuses. Mana generation isn't necessarily something you want to push all of your summoning doublers on right now, because having 1 double is more than enough, because the summoning, the boss stones made it so the scaling on your mana generation is just really, really high. So you can just put 1 doubler on 1 mana dividend and like 1 mana generation, be completely fine. And final card, obviously. Have Seeing Red. Have Sharpened Spikes. Okay, I just don't see this damage increase. This actually is a pretty significant amount of damage if you if you were to swap out of mana generation, for example, or maybe not mana generation, but swapping out of the blue one, Mana Renar, and swapping that into unit damage, you'd probably get a bunch of damage there to push higher endless summoning waves. Okay, Showdown 59. So the next best one to push is probably 63 with all these endless summoning bonuses. Pushing Equinox higher, more bar fill rate is obviously pretty good. So pushing the 63 is probably your next big one. 65 after that for Deathbringer Bones. The cheaper farming upgrade is going to help you with farming and pushing that, so it's obviously pretty good. Where Summoner Win bonus at level 80 is probably as far away for you right now, but it's something to consider. So obviously pushing damage and bravery is probably going to help you with this, so you are able to get higher and higher levels. So all this is No Meal Left Behind territory. You never know, gotta check it sometimes. Okay. Well, I think that's enough for today. Just remember to do your Shimmer trial. People tend to forget about this. This is free skill efficiency. It's probably the last thing I want to talk about today. But GeQhO, I mean, your account is doing pretty good. Just again, it just comes down to the bravery and justice grind. People sleep on justice because of how annoying it is. But remember, there is a whole app that I've talked about that people can use for justice. I've linked this in several videos already, and I'll try to link it in your video. So check the description for this. This will help you on a case-by-case basis determine what you need. So say you are visited by Timmy on case 121, and it's like this one right here. Tell people to skivity, you reject it, it gives you 25 pop. That's about it. So, you know, use this to help you with justice, get to 24k hours in justice to help you push justice even further, and it's going to help you a ton. So I wish you the best of luck, man. I want you to get on that grind as soon as possible for pushing. What are characters even doing right now? Get on the grind for pushing the hours on your monuments, and I think your account's going to be pretty good. And pushing to that 1 trillion print for copper ore is definitely something you want to aim for in the near future. So I wish you the best of luck, man. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I just want to say as a last thing, thank you to all of my Twitch subscribers and YouTube channel members. You guys really help the channel grow and really motivate me to continue making videos. If you guys do also want to support me on YouTube, it's just $1 a month for a channel subscription at the lowest tier. You can choose to give more if you want. Just want to say that. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate your support. Have a great day. Bye.